Today I'm going to show you how to take a part from Inventor and get it ready for 3D print. So this is a fulcrum I've been working on for one of the first class levers, and what I'm going to do now is save it so that it's an STL file. So here's how we do that. First we go up to File and we go down to Save As, but we don't click it. We actually click this arrow and go over to Save Copy As. Truthfully, it shouldn't make a difference. If you hover your mouse here, this menu should eventually pop up. So we click Save Copy As, and then we give it a file name. So I'm going to call this Fulcrum, and it really does help if you put one member of the group in there for a title. Make sure you find the right folder for yourself. Down here where it says Save As Type, you're going to click in that box, and you're going to go down until you see STL files. You're going to click that. Now here's a big key point. That's not enough yet. Inventor automatically saves things as metric. So we need to go to Options, and we need to make sure that this says inches and the resolution is set to high. What normally happens is right here it actually says centimeter by default. So we need to make sure that says inches. Now, after we do this for the first time, we probably will not have to do that again because Inventor will remember it. However, we should get in the habit of checking that. So after we do this, we're going to click OK. And then we're going to save the file. And your next step is to just take out your email program, attach that STL to the email, and then send it to me. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to actually go up to my computer, and you're going to find your email message. And here it is. Here's the file. So what I need to do is I need to double click that. And what will happen is it will open up the program. You got to really watch that double click because sometimes it'll try to preview it here. If it does that, just double click it again, and then it'll ask you if you want to open or save it. I'm going to go ahead and open it, of course. The first question is a little bit tricky, but what it tells us is that we drew the part in inches, but because the 3D printing world is really in millimeters or the metric system in general, we need to convert this over. So the answer to this question we need to choose is yes. So I'll go ahead and click yes, and it imports the file. Now by using my left mouse button, I can rotate this around any which way I want to get a better view. Now what I would do next is I would pick the right printer. To do that, I go down here to where it says Process 1, and I'm going to double click that. Right here where it says Profile, I need to click in that box and choose which printer it is that I'm going to use. Most likely you're going to use the Alpha Hatch box, which is the big tall printer. It's the Delta printer in the back. You might also use the one at the bottom that says North FlashForge Creator Pro, and it tells us it has ABS filament. You may also use this one, which is the same printer, just for a different filament. The other three you could use are these Wombat printers, and you can tell which one is which because it'll have the color around the LCD screen of the printer. In this case, I'm going to use the Alpha Hatch box, so I click it, and then I really only have one other question, and that is, do I want to generate supports or not? So if I move this box out of the way, I can see that I can rotate that and print on this flat edge. So I don't really need to do any support. So I'm just going to click OK. So again, I've selected the printer, and I choose whether or not I'm going to generate support. Then I click OK. Now you'll notice because I changed printers, it relocated the part. That's not a big deal at all. In fact, if I just come over here right in the middle left of the screen and click Center and Arrange, it puts it right back in the middle. Now the problem still, if I print it like this, I really do need supports. So what I'm going to do is actually rotate this. So I'm going to double click the part. And notice over here on the far right side of the screen, when I double click, there's going to be some changes happen over here. So I'll double click now. And now you can see I can offset it. And what this does is allows us to move it left and right. I can also change the scaling. So I can make it really big, or I can make it back to normal. If I have a situation where I need one size to be bigger, so maybe I needed this to be a little taller, I could uncheck uniform scaling like that, and then choose which one I want to make taller. I'm going to just keep it uniform because the part is actually the way it's supposed to be. Now down here at the bottom, you're going to use this the most. This is your rotation. Again, what I want to do is get on that flat edge. That's the one I want touching the bed surface, which is this gray area. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, I'm kind of looking at axes here, and it looks like the y-axis is the one I want to rotate on. And it doesn't really matter. If you mess up, you just change it back to 0. Typically on this, we're using 90 degrees. So I'm going to go down here to Y, and I'm going to put a 90 in there and press the Enter key. Now notice it went through the bed, but it did rotate. To get it back on the bed, I'll just hit Center and Arrange. The part looks ready, so now I'm going to go down here to where it says Prepare to Print. When I do that, it'll put it on the print preview, and it'll tell me the build time, which is 49 minutes. Tells me the filament length, and it tells me what it will weigh. Also tells me material cost. When I'm done with that, the next thing I want is come down here to where it says Save Toolpaths to Disk. So I'll click that. And really what I want to do is just save it. You can see my SD card is already in there. And that is something really I should do at the beginning of the process. I need to go back to the back room, find out which printer I want to use, and take the SD card from it and go ahead and put it in the computer. For file name, I want to be really careful here. Fulcrum is fine. Again, make sure to have at least one group member name in there. And then what I'm doing is I'm going to type in 0H and 49M. And what that is it tells me the time up here, or the estimated time. Once I do that, then I go ahead and hit save. I put the time in there just because I may want to print it again, but may not need to go through all this. Maybe for some reason the part broke, or maybe I just want a duplicate of the part. So I don't really need to do all this again. I can just print the part straight from the printer. That's why I put the time on there, so I know about how long it's going to take. After that, I hit save. And then from there, after it says down here, Toolpath successfully exported, and depending on the part, it could take a couple of minutes to do it. This is a pretty small part, so it went through really, really fast. After I've saved it, I'm done with this program. So what I'll do next is I'll take the disk from the computer now, I'll eject it from the computer, and I'll take it to the printer.